In today's video, we're going to be looking into is the 175k pack crashing the market this year a lot faster than we normally see it. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch for the cheapest trading guides out there for just £4, €4, all free. With Amazon Prime, you'll receive daily trading and investing guides covering PlayStation, Xbox and PC with an array of methods covering all budgets. And I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million in multiple different FIFAs, and now for the last 4 years I've made 10 million coins in just the first month. So in today's video we are going to be covering a bunch of things to do with the market in terms of what's happening with players. We're mainly going to be talking about 175k pack, we're going to be talking about the KDB SBC and what that's done to fodder, arguably way earlier. We're going to be talking about link investments to De Bruyne and what's going on with them. We're going to be talking about the current team of the week. We're going to be talking about cheap meta cards. We're going to be talking about mid and high meta cards. And just looking how is the market reacting to absurd stuff such as 175k packs on day one. On top of that, I think we've had obviously insane SBCs. We don't normally get this early. We've had some really big objectives. So what I've done is I've had a little look into these and I'm going to go and show you guys my findings. So the first thing we are going to be talking about in the video is going to be the KDB SBC, because this is quite an insane SBC. Bear in mind we've had early SBCs that have been good like Axel Witsel and like Piotr Mora, but this caliber of player seems pretty insane for literally the release day, or not even the release day. So what we're going to be doing is talking about the implications of this SBC, because it's done things that we don't normally see this early. And the first of that is what it's done to SBC fodder. Now the SBC is, I guess, dubbed as very cheap. It's about 150, 140 maybe. And again, it requires a 86 and 87 rated team. So what is quite interesting to see is if we got 86 and 87 red SBCs, what is that moving? Just because down the line, we should see that be replicated. Because obviously this year we got way more players, and because we've got way more players, we don't really know, is an 86 and 87 rated team going to rise 86 and 87s the most? Is it going to rise 85s the most? Is it going to rise 88s and 89s the most? So it's very interesting to see how these have reacted. So we'll start off here with 85s. 85s have gone from the likes of, well, I don't even think they were selling at discard 2.2, and they haven't quite doubled yet, up to 3.4. And we'll talk about in a sec if I think they're going to just keep rising and rising. We then get to the likes of 86s, and again these cards have now gone from 3.7 up to 6.4, and they're only rising. We then move to 88s, and these have gone 5.2 to 9.8, which at the moment, other than 86s, had the highest return on investment. We then move to 88s, and we're looking at 7.1 to 15k, so again they better even more so. So even though it's an 86 and 87 rated team, one rating above the higher rated team needed did the best. We then start getting to relatively underwhelming rises, stuff such as Rodri, even though he's obviously crossing off that Man City. We're only seeing a 14 to 22, which is under what under the rise of the 88s we saw. And then once again we get even higher rated, and just because this is so high rated, it just turns up not being good value for money with the likes of Benzema. So first little bit of thing we can take away is 86s, 87s and 88s have the highest rises when we do need a 86 and an 87 rated squad, which I don't think should be overly surprising. Now linking into this, we are going to be covering the team of the week, because obviously we did have the 175k pack, and the normal trend with team of the week is that these guys will rise day in, day out, all the way till at least Tuesday. And then what will happen is sometimes they'll get over-invested on the Tuesday and they'll crash on the Wednesday and won't hit prices above what they did on the Tuesday. Now, there are some players, your exceptions like Valverde, I think of last year. I think we've seen of Renato Sanchez in previous years. But you've got to be a little bit careful when you're trading with the cheap ones, because they're more, seen as investments. Something like Hummels, I think, has a much higher chance of dropping. But we'll have a look at these and see if they've been following the trend, despite EA dropping 175k packs. Obviously, the 175k pack is untradeable. So the first player, which has been a bit insane, and it's a very weird one, is the likes of Lamptey. Now, I would direct or credit Lamptey's rise due to the Fatty objective. I think people are progressively doing that Fatty objective, unlocking his best card, and then wanting to put him in their team, and they're putting him in with the likes of Tarek Lamptey. I always thought Lamptey, I'll be honest with you, was the best team of the week, if you wanted to buy a team of the week, even over Doku. And it's crazy, because even though you've got a perfect chem link to the likes of KDB, Lamptey is still outperforming Doku. So we see that the initial, we can go find Friday. There we go. So we go and find Friday with the likes of the KDB. This is quite interesting. It could be credited to KDB and it could be credited to the likes of Madison. But it went there from 36k there to 43k. And unlike a lot of the cards that were initially invested for KDB, he didn't really go back down to the 36. He just went to 40. But then what he's done is he's gone up and then gone down in the morning. Again, this is a completely normal trend. Rise during the day. Didn't go down this early morning. He's only just risen and risen and risen. And again, I think he'll at least rise till Tuesday. So now what we're going to do is we are going to be looking at the meta cards and seeing how have they been affected by the 175k pack compared to normal. So I'm going to start off here with the likes of Rashford. And if we go here to the Friday 6 PM, we can see that he really wasn't affected. And yeah, he's just not pretended. He's just continued to rise and rise and rise. And again, I see him rising all the way through to about the 28th, 29th, where probably going to be subjective on what RTTK sort of cards we get. But if you want to play it very safe, I'd go and sell him on the 27th. If you want to gamble it, you can gamble that he's the weekend league meta and hold on to him for 2 weeks, because that is what you could have got away with last year. We then head to a card very, very similar, someone like Dembele right here. The trend wasn't as positive as it has been on Rashford, which is a bit interesting. But we see right here that he's 200k. We see that he's got up here to 240. What is he this morning? He's still 240. Actually, I think he's about the same as Rashford. Do ignore me. But yeah, once again, the main thing is he just isn't really being affected by these promo packs. We're not really seeing big dips at 6. If anything, we're just seeing a lot of panic buying after 6 PM, which is potentially coming from people thinking they're going to go down at 6, and then every single day they don't. So then get someone more mid to like Musiala, and Musiala's trends are a bit more interesting, because what we saw happen with the other cards is they kind of rose day in, day out, barely any drops. Whereas Musiala seems to be dropping and rising every single day. So you said the initial packs, they went down from 77 down to about 69. So it went down about 10%, maybe 11, 12. He then rebounded the vast majority, but then bounced back down to that initial drop price, which we didn't really see happen with the other players. They kind of dropped, and then everyone was like, oh, what are we panicking about? Nothing. So they went back up again. He then proceeded to go to an even higher price the following day, but then with the promo packs again, he dropped again. But after the promo packs, people realised they weren't panicking about anything, and he went back up again. And he seems to basically be on a trend of rising every day, but then gets panic sold a little bit before 6 PM. Now, obviously, there could be you could warrant that because of the likes of KDB and Maddison being, competitive centre mids as such. But yeah, a bit of an interesting trend, because in reality, he isn't up much between what he was 3-4 days ago, which if we look at some other cards, they are. We then moved to Kolo Muani, again, with the initial packs, or he went from 36 to 33. Didn't have that initial rebound until the following morning. Then went back down again. Again, this is a trend very, very common in FIFA, where they drop in the morning and then they rise in the evening. Here's them dropping in the morning and rising in the evening. 32, then got all the way up to 39. Then got panic sold because of promo packs, something we're very, very common to see. Back down there to 36, and then again after the panic selling, he was okay. So he seems slightly progressive. It's more someone like Kolo Muani, and again, this is kind of for the case of the 30, 40k players. You're not really seeing the rises that we did last year, where they'd rise and rise and rise. It's more just that these are safe players. It doesn't seem like Kolo Muani, despite the promo packs, despite there being good SBC players, despite whatever, he's not really dropping, which is decent. We then get to Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez, slightly interest player, so we'll actually go to Saka first. Saka, following a few of the trends we've seen, dropped with the promo packs, then rebounded. But Saka's actually hasn't really been rising. Once again, kind of fitting into that 30-40k range of stuff that isn't that expensive, isn't rising like it did last year. It's just holding, which I'd say is not a very good look going into the 27th, because if we're seeing players only just holding their price with, I'd say, limited packs being open, yes, there's promo packs. I'd say as soon as you get a very well-demanded promo like RTTK, which is coming on the 29th, I don't think these players are going to hold. So in previous years where you could maybe gamble it, I wouldn't really want to gamble it with these very cheap players, because it's not like what we saw with Walker earlier in the video, where Walker went up like 20-30k. He's only just been holding, which isn't the best sign in the world. We then get to Darwin Núñez. Bit of a weird trend on Darwin Núñez, as I said a second ago. That's just because he's an objective player. So I think what we're seeing is because he's an objective player, and we saw this with Haaland last year, very weird. So because a player is mass owned, every single time there is any sort of event that happens in the market, aka like 6 PM promo packs, you see way more panic selling on them than you do other cards. And I feel like this makes sense, right? If everyone's got Darwin Núñez, there's way more people to panic selling if they think that the market's going to go down. And that's just what's happened. Friday, promo packs went down from 32 to 26. But he recovered because people are using him. Saturday, same thing. Panic sold again. What is he? 32 to 26. Got back up to 32. Then back down into 27. And I'd tell you what, I'd be very surprised if by this evening he's not going to go and rebound again, because people are using him for the objective. On the contrary, you could say, well, people are finishing the objective and selling him. But then what I'd say to that is, why is he rising every day and only dropping with 6 PM content? So Darwin Núñez, once again, just like the 30-40k players, I wouldn't want to hold on to them to the 27th, but he does a very interesting trend where he rises loads and drops loads, and I say that's just due to the mass people owning him because of objectives. We get to Gabriel Jesus, who actually has the same trend as Darwin Núñez, which is interesting, as in he drops with the likes of promo packs, then seems to rebound, drops with the likes of promo packs, and then I'd be surprised if he isn't going to go and rebound. But once again, because of this trend occurring, I don't favour holding these cards going into RTTK on Friday. So in terms of investment wise, I don't think I'd hold them, because these 30-40k players that were rising last year aren't rising this year, if that's due to there just being such a high selection of players, because obviously the men and the women, or if it's due to the promo packs. So hopefully that wraps it up. So Team of the Week are looking very progressive, just like normal. 30-40k players not looking very progressive. Stuff that's like 1-200 looking very progressive. So again, you're relatively safe to hold on to everything until the 27th. It's just the 27th I probably want to bin off anything below 50. And arguably there might be a little bit more risk holding on to the gold cards, because some of the cheaper cards, not even that cheap, 30-40k, aren't following last year's trends. There could be a little bit more risk with other more expensive cards. So hopefully that helps you guys know what's going to go on with the market. Very interested to see how that KDB affected the market, and very interested to see if it's the large selection of players or if it's the promo packs that have dropped the market and disrupted last year's trends. But that has been that. Anything you don't understand, just head over to my Twitch streams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.